Bamm Ericsen here with a Ballers special guest edition. Got a lot to talk about. Guess who the guest is? All right, let's go.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
That part.
Hey, what's up? Bamm Ericsen here with AFTERBUZZ TV for Ballers Season 2, a special guest edition who we will introduce in a second. Again, I'm Bamm Ericsen, and you can follow me on social media at Bamm Ericsen.
And you can follow me, Suzette Babb, on Instagram, Twitter. Leave some comments on YouTube as well.
Hi, I'm Jill Munroe, and you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat at Stiletto Jill. And to my right, we have Donovan Carter, star of Ballers. He plays Vernon. Can we get some applause?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you for being our guest again. So, let's talk about your character and your storyline thus far in season 2. So, everything seems to be going great. You got the deal that you wanted with the help of your best friend, your road dog, your sidekick, Mr. Favrej, and now you're playing for Dallas. Everything is great. Until somebody
Fat
is
Reggie.
in Fat Reggie's ear about not having dental insurance.
Because good teeth are important.
It is.
We're going to start episode 1. Someone put it in his ear. Do you have dental? So it got the ball rolling about possibly needing to get a little salary from you.
Mm-hmm. And so I wonder, with that being said, why do you think there was never a discussion between Vern, Reg, being that you love to take care of your family, which we saw in season 1, and Fat Reg is family? Were you giving him money on the side, and maybe we don't know about it? Did he want more? What happened that brought it to where we saw last night in episode 3?
I think just with Reg, he just, he wants some type of sense of identity. I mean, everybody wants, like you said, to take care of himself, and hopefully take care of some of his family in the future. But I mean, it just shows with these players. Especially with Vern and Reg, they come from Crenshaw, they come from LA, they come from, their neighborhood. And
I never knew that.
I never knew that either.
Me neither, yeah.
They're from LA?
It hasn't been
That's
discussed
interesting.
the background.
Yeah.
Okay, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, we don't really specify too much. But I mean, the first season we say, Rock says Fat Reggie from Crenshaw.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, we're in Miami, so
Yeah.
you can't really, it's not a real big, detail. But I think, I mean, it just shows, that Reggie wants to step up. He wants to, be independent, and it shows too that these players, they, Vern, we didn't have the education for that. I don't even think Vern knew that he could get him dental. So it's just one of the things. I think we just kind of been doing stuff on the side. We haven't really did anything legit. That's why Spencer comes in and wants to help take care of my finances first season, because obviously what we've been doing isn't working. So I think this season, we just really want to, especially with me and Reg, we want to start doing, everything by the book. And if we're gonna do it, I got this money, I got everything I wanted in first season for my contract. So we just want to do it by the books and do it right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have something?
No.
I have a question.
Yes.
I feel like we talked about what we wanted to see more from this season, and I specifically had said like more from Vernon, because your character's so lovable, so sweet. Yeah. We saw last season when you were taking photos of the flamingos, and I thought that was really telling that there's just that sweet side. So I was surprised when you tried to when Vernon tried to lowball Reggie with $800, because to me that's like $20 an hour. So why do you think Vernon, after speaking to Joe, and Joe said let's do $1,500, why even try to sell him at $800?
I mean, I just think seeing what Reg does, I just think $1,500. I mean, that's a lot of money.
You didn't think that was the right price for him. You thought that it wasn't worth that.
Yeah, I mean, for what he does, I just I think that's why Vern hasn't paid him at all, because he's with him. He takes care of him
anyways. Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of like
that's what you would do regardless.
With a child, you give your kid allowance, but you don't give him too much, because I'm doing everything for you anyway. Yeah. What are you you're just gonna take this money and keep it for yourself.
Damn, I
was surprised though.
we've been on the fence. We have really disagreed on this situation because I feel like once the negotiation was made with Joe, he was the middle person. So the fact that the middle person had already spoke,
Yes.
I felt like Reggie and Vernon should not then have had a conversation, or if they did have a conversation, the conversation should have changed because 1,500, he said fine. And if you didn't have an issue with it, then you should have had Joe handle the situation, because having friends negotiate is just a terrible thing to do. Right. So being that you already had the middleman, you should have just left it at
Rolled
that.
it out with the middleman.
Yeah. And I mean, I hope, future athletes or anybody in this situation, like you said, it should just go, for me, I want to eliminate the middleman all the time in everything in my personal life. So, I mean,
really?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you can go straight to the source, I feel, what do you need a middleman for?
Well, and you don't think that in your budding situation that sometimes you're going to need that buffer because people might try and take advantage or put you in uncomfortable positions. I think that's what it avoids you having to, deal with things that might mess up your friendships or relationships. So.
True. I mean, I don't know. I mean, with Vernon and Reg, I see you every day. We stay together. We in the same house. So it's like, Reg, I feel like in that situation should have just come to Vern, straight up just man to man. You don't got to go to Joe and talk about that. You could have came straight to Vern and be like, look, this is what I want. Maybe let's work together. Maybe have a middle ground.
So then if that Reg would have came to you man to man,
yes,
would you still would have offered him $800? I mean, would Vernon
probably would have did like
yeah.
1,000.
Yeah.
You would have given him 200 for being straight up.
It's tough man to man though, because then it could be like on the first when you get that check, but then all of a sudden on the third you need extra money. So then it's like, can I have another 400? So if you have Joe and Spencer like being very stern, they're not going to ask you for a little extra on the side.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And something else that I wondered if is the money under the table? Is it an actual check? Will taxes be taken out? Because technically, if it's $1,500, then he really is getting $800.
True. That's a great point.
So, that's just something that I wonder, when you have...
Is he an independent contractor? He used to pay his taxes at the end of the year?
When you're paying the homeboy, is it... I have no idea what the noise is, but so if you can see why we're making funny faces, there's a noise that's going on, so my apologies. But those are just the kind of things that I wondered. And then my final thing before we go into last night's episode was there maybe a conversation had with Vernon and Joe to make the decision that you wanted to go from 800 to 15? Or were you unaware and you just said 800, not knowing that the conversation happened between Fat Reggie and Joe?
I mean, I before we start playing paintball, I talked to Joe, and he says 1,500. So I think as time go by, we start playing actual paintball, and I think I'm probably thinking about like 1,500. Like I don't know about that. I'm probably thinking what does he actually do? Why should he deserve this 1,500? And then I just that's probably the number that popped in my head was 800.
Okay.
And then maybe sometimes you throw a number down and then maybe negotiate after that. So it's like I think Vern, he just probably want to start low and then maybe go higher.
Yeah.
But I think he was just talking to Joe and just agreeing with Joe because he just was like, I'm ready to play paintball because that's Vern. He's a different type of guy. Mm-hmm. So I think he was just, sometimes you just want to get off the phone like, yeah, that's fine. I'm going to talk to you later because I'm in the middle of something.
Okay, now let's go to Vernon being shot.
Yeah.
And so do you think Vernon knew who shot him, or do you think that he just was just shot in the action of just playing paintball?
I think he after last night's episode, I think he still doesn't know who shot him, and I think right now it's like it's not even important because of his injury. Mm-hmm.
But do you really? Is it important though? As we were kind of disagreeing about, is it important if it comes to truth that it was Fat Reggie? Is that going to kick him to the curb?
I mean, Reggie is Reggie, so I don't. I mean, we've been growing up our whole life. I'm sure we've in a relationship, they've done all type of stuff together. I'm sure I've done stuff to him. It's like my brother. Brothers fight. They make up, they fight. They have their relationship. But I think right now the focus is just, on, my career, because right now I have an injury and, I'm a professional football player. So I just want to get on the field. And me being a former athlete, when you're hurt, it's not a good feeling, because it just, you don't feel part of the team. And, sometimes they when I was in college, when you was hurt, you eat separate away from everybody else, and you do separate things. And it's just, it's just not a good feeling. And with Vern, I don't even know, it doesn't seem, last season it doesn't seem like he's had a lot of injuries. So it just mentally, it's just a whole different situation. So I think right now he's just getting prepared for that. And then he also sees Reg there with him by his side. So
Taking care of him.
Yeah, so it's kind of tough, because it's like, if he shot you, but he's really help, he took me to the hospital. He was there with me, from when I got surgery when I was out. So.
I'm not buying it, because
Yeah, it could be a little guilt.
he waited. Now, as I said in the previous recap, when you guys' characters was playing paintball, it was the following day, maybe 5-6 o'clock at night. It was barely on the cusp of being dark.
Yes.
He called, Fat Reggie called Spencer at 5:04 a.m. So he waited a long time.
Yeah, we waited like a full day.
Yeah, like 12 hours before you called and decided that you need help.
Is that nerve? Is that the immaturity though? Because you hoping it gets
Hoping
better.
it just heals
not
on
really
its own
wrong.
with some peas.
We're very immature, young guys. But I think it's just something, when you get hurt, you let me just walk it off. Let me just. I'll be okay. And,
I can see that.
And as as an athlete, you consider yourself as a warrior, so you don't want to seem weak and not need to go to a doctor. And we didn't think it was that serious until the next day when, it was swollen. And I was like, something's wrong. And then,
okay, now the funny moment for me is when Dwayne Johnson's character Spence was rolling you in the hospital on the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Okay, that episode that moment reminded me of an episode of Good Times when Sweet Daddy Williams was in the hospital because he needed to get his kidney transplant. Yeah. And so Sweet Daddy Williams was he was like this big drug dealer in Chicago. And so you had this real big tough guy all of a sudden that was just like, oh God, I'm in pain. So when I saw that Dwayne rolling your character, it reminded me of that, because here you had this big football player, and you and Vernon just seemed defeated. Like, oh Lord, you was praying to the Lord that he don't fuck your leg up and
Brought down to your knees.
Yeah, and that was such a funny moment for me. I don't know if anyone else, but it was funny to me.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just one of those where I didn't have any control anything. So and it just shows the relationship me and Spencer has. Whenever I'm into something, he's the first person I call. He just to the rescue. And I think a lot of these athletes, they need, I was saying that last season, like, you just need somebody like Spencer in your life where, I don't know how many people are going to answer the phone call at 5 a.m. and come to the hospital and help you out. So, shout out to Spencer.
I was going to say, I agree having a big heart, but is it going to backfire? Because I was a little upset that, I was happy that Vernon wanted to tell the truth, but the fact that Spencer decided, okay, call the owner. Isn't it up to Spencer, Jason, and Joe? Because then it's going to backfire. Because as we know, the owner hung up on Vernon.
Yeah, I think, like you said earlier, just my immaturity. The coach was there. I'm hiding, and
I don't feel like it's immature. I think that I'm someone that likes to tell the truth. It's like, no. Just tell the truch and then deal with it. Don't try to cover it up, and then, a lie is a lie.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you were hiding on the floor in the hallway. What was that like? Like with Oreos, I noticed the Oreos to the side, like all types of bad decisions just in the hall.
Just going.
That's a big house. You could have hid in the room.
Yeah, just going through it. I don't know. We Vern and Reg, man. We just two dudes not from a big house, from a not a good neighborhood. So that's what we know. That's probably what we knew growing up. Just let's hide and like some kids and just go away from our problems.
But I can see why they wanted to cover up, because if you look at the big picture. I believe that Spencer and Joe knows Vernon's contract better than Vernon and Reg knows. And so they mentioned the fact that you got injured in a non-football related injury. So I feel like they were protecting him by lying. It is what it is. I'm sorry. They were protecting him, and they were protecting his money. So I feel like that was truly their job to
$18 million guaranteed and the rest of the contract. Yeah.
So I feel like it was, Suzette. I feel like
That's a number.
She know better than Vernon.
I understand that Vernon is a good guy and he doesn't like to lie.
Yes.
But I felt it was justified in order to cover up for him because he can possibly lose everything, which in fact he may actually lose everything because the owner, the guy from Grease 2, hung up on him after Vernon told him the truth.
But then was it right for Spencer to make the decision to let him call the owner?
I mean, I
That's
think
what
that
it
he
is.
had to call. We talked about this. You were calling the owner because you were hiding, right? So you had to address and have some type of conversation. But I think you might have wanted to leave out the information of the actual activity.
Yeah. I mean, I think,
But that's a good guy. That's a good trait to have, honesty to a fault. But
yeah, I mean, like you said, it just shows, the type of character Vernon, man. He got a big heart, and he just, he's all about his conscience, and he wants to be able to go to sleep and feel good about himself. And I really don't think Vernon he's probably not a good liar at all. And I mean, I really, at the end of the day, I mean, like you said, it should be your team, my agent or Spencer, they should have handled the situation. But how it happened, I felt like I'm the one that did it, so I just wanted to take full responsibility. I wanted, stop being immature and just grow up, be a man. And I thought the best thing was to call the owner and tell him. And Spencer, in the moment too, how his career ended and the things he went through in his NFL career. He's like, maybe you should just do this because it might be the right way. And it ended up hanging up on me.
So do you think, because this is one of the debates that we had, do you think that Spencer encouraged you to tell the truth or to just call and man up and say, hey, I'm alive?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think he encouraged me to tell the truth, but I just think he was like, he just was like, you need to call the boss, man. Like, you can't just keep ignoring his calls because like the coach came, he keeps calling me, so it's like we need to do something. Yeah. Because if you don't want to lie, then we gotta do some type of communication because. Go ahead.
And one of the things that I do appreciate about that situation is, I've coached sports and I've coached football as well, and anytime that there was a player injured, I'm at the hospital with them until the parents come. I go and thank you. I check up on the parent. I check up on the player. So it was also to check on him to see, is he dead? Is he okay? Is he alive?
What type of shape is he in?
What kind of shape is he in? I don't, it's a business aspect, but I do really think that the coaches actually do care about their players because, you spend so many months within a year with your players, you guys become family.
Yeah.
So.
Especially, with Vernon, he's the franchise player. He is his contract. He got like top dollar. Yeah. So like you said, it's just good for people at home to see that relationship, with the owner and the coaches. Because a lot of times, people just think, when the season's over, it's just because right now it's off season. So when the season's over, you live your life, you do your thing. So it's got, like, it's kind of nice, like you said, to see that relationship and, like you said, see if he's okay, just to check up on him. Because most coaches, other places, they'll just wait till the season start or when you actually like meet together as a team and see what's going on. So
I have a question. Will we see Vernon in season at some point? Because both last season and now this one been in the off season. Is that the pace for the show that we only see their off season life and then kind of come back after?
Yeah, I mean for the first two seasons, for the first season, it was just, the timing was because Ricky's character was actually in Miami and I play in Dallas. So the first season, the timing was I was already done with my organized team activities and I was just home, getting ready for camp. And Ricky, because everybody starts different weeks, different times. Even right now, people start training camp different times. So it was just the timing. And this year, with me being injured, I can't do anything. but I'm my plan is to get ready, to still compete. I'm not with my injury, but we'll see though. Hopefully, later on, it just right now we just we've been focusing on the off season, the business and everything outside of the locker room. Because really like with athletes, that's the easy part. Playing ball when you have a schedule and everything is lined up. But just like the hard part is when you have all this time to yourself. When when the season's over and you got 6 months. and you got a lot of free time, and you know what are these players doing with it?
Speaking of free time, there was a theme from Reggie. You know, he says that they don't own you. You have the right to be able to do what you want to do. And right. Spence is like, no, they actually do own you because, you know, this is you're a business. Mm-hmm. And so what do you guys think about that, just in general, as far as does Fat Reggie have a point regarding they don't own you? You should be able to come and go as you please. You should be able to have fun. You should be able to do what you do.
Well, for me, I think that it's an in-between thing. You know the revenue that the NFL generates. So if you're playing with the team, you're an asset of that. And if you want your brand to ascend, you have to sort of fall in line in certain areas. That in order to get these multi-million-dollar deals, if they were available to everyone, just doing whatever they wanted, then it would be a different situation. You wouldn't be getting paid millions and millions of dollars. They're paying you top dollar because that's how much it requires. That's the draw. So you are your own person. You can do things. I think that the way that you map them out is the key to it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. If they can't do whatever they want if they're under contract and you're being played to make sure you're in the best shape. And I think that Reggie was just saying, oh no, it's fine, because he still is in a little bit of denial. And he wants to just play it off like, no, it's fine, we can do what we want, don't treat him like that. That's part of why he wants a salary, right? To kind of speak up for Vernon. And
no, I think he wants a salary for life benefits, because then he doesn't
have a
plan.
Well, that too, but he, you know,
relevance.
He feels like he is helpful to Vernon's life.
He is, though.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Reg in a sense, but I mean, like you said, this is the profession I'm in. You know, they don't own me, but if they tell me to do something, I have to do it. You know, if they say we need you here, I have to do it. And you know, with Reg, I mean, it just, you know, he's looking at a different perspective. He's not playing a sport, so to him, yeah, they don't own you. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it kind of shows, you know, his education of the whole thing. And that's why, you know, I think too, for Vern, he says $800 because it's like, you know, you need to do more, you need to step up. Because, you know, even with last season, you know, yeah, he told me to hold out and get my money, and that was good. But, for Reg, he just needs to get a little bit more education, kind of like, you know, how LeBron James has his team, you know, his boys.
The Four Horsemen.
Yeah, exactly. His boys is helping represent him, but he made sure they went to school, you know, got prepared for it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, with Reg, you know, I mean, he's right in a sense, you know, yeah, you know, they don't own you, but, you know, they do a little bit because they pay you so much money, and it's a lot at stake, especially for something, you know, silly like, you know, like paintball.
Mm-hmm.
I think Reggie is incorrect. I think they do own Vernon's ass, and I think Vernon owns Fat Reg.
That would be accurate. Mm-hmm. That would be accurate. He can't breathe. He can't eat if you don't issue a check. And
he needs to get over his ego and learn a business. And you know, season 2 so far, Spence and Reg have got along. Everything is great. He even agreed with him as regards to the being owned situation. So everything is going great. So while everything is going great, why can't Reg start to learn a little bit more, you know, before you guys start to fall apart, which I feel is going to happen once Spence finds out that Reggie is the cause of Vernon being shot.
Especially since Spencer runs the division of their agency, maybe Reggie can be an intern.
Yeah.
There you go.
Something, yeah. Take some initiative, Reg.
Something else that I like about this season is I really like how they really incorporate all the storylines a little bit more. You see more scenes with each of the storylines. So there's a Vern Reg, there's a Charles or Julie, there's a Spence, Joe, and a lot, and then you have Ricky. But we don't just see like a scene per episode. Like we literally see maybe like 3 scenes per character and storyline, which I think is great because it's moving a lot faster. Mm-hmm. And so when you guys got the script for season 2, you know, did they kind of warn you as to what was going to happen and where the storylines and stuff was going?
No, not at all. No, we just get the script, man, and just
surprise.
Surprise. Yeah.
Really? So they don't like sit you down and kind of give you the arc of what your storyline's gonna be?
Nah, nope.
Oh,
we just show up, man. Just show up as actors and just do the work. You know, I mean, we kind of, you know, like we got just amazing writers, amazing, you know, producing directors. So they just, they just do their thing, and then we got belief and faith that, they're gonna write some good stuff. And for this season, like the writers and everybody just stepped their game up from first season to me. And I'm just reading the season, while we were shooting, I was like, man, I already knew like it was gonna be better than first season, and I was happy with it.
Were you getting scripts per shoot, or did you get all 10 episodes and then you had the opportunity to read them and then they'll tell you like, okay, we're shooting this episode?
We get like the first like 4 or 5, and then while we shoot just periodically, because they write while we shoot sometimes, because just stuff changes and things happen. But we sometimes we didn't really get the last like 3 till like right before we got done, just because they just was changing stuff up and wanted to do different things.
How do you think that current headlines sort of, dictate those changes or things that are happening within the sporting world?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. Stuff, especially we had, we was doing things with certain, like right now with, we have Ricky with the Saints, and they were, they wanted to get a coach in there, but he ended up getting fired, and it went, it was Rex Ryan brother. So, it's just, sometimes you have to change stuff just because things are happening, and they just on the fly. But I mean, we got good writers, so they're prepared for whatever.
Great writers, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, really good.
And
No.
okay, so I remember as you guys were transitioning as season 1 was happening, your life started to change, and so now with you guys in season 2 and you guys are renewed for season 3, how are you adjusting to becoming famous?
It's cool. I mean, just people, kind of stop me. I feel like it's just levels of fame. Like last season, it was like, you look familiar. Like, just stare at me. Where do I know you from? Did we go like to school or something? It's just something. And now it's like, aren't you the guy from Ballers? And then hopefully it's like, aren't you Donovan? So just levels. But it's cool though. I thank God every day just for the opportunity, man, because it's just amazing. I remember 3 years ago, I was on the bus and nobody. So it's just been an adjustment. I feel like it's something you can't like really prepare for. You just kind of I just take one day at a time, and I just make sure anybody I meet, I treat them how I want to be treated. And I have fans too myself. So, whenever I meet somebody, I want the experience to be, like when I meet fans, I like to. So.
Can you give us a little backstory about how you got the part as Vernon?
Yeah. I actually really played football. I played UCLA collegiate, and I graduated in 2012. So my goal out of college was to keep playing football. I got an agent, was training every day, and I didn't get drafted, but I got an opportunity to go up and try out for the Oakland Raiders. So that was my dream. I was like, this is what I wanted. So I went up there for 3 days, did my best. They all the coach brought a whole group of us in the room. He was like, thank you for coming, but we're gonna go another way. So
damn. How did that make you feel?
I mean, it was tough, man, because it's just like, something that you want to do with somebody, and it's not like, I really didn't feel like it wasn't because I was good enough, just, sometimes politics and it's just the way how it goes. But I definitely was, I was upset a little bit, actually a lot of it, but I mean, that's life, and I just, I had to just move on. It was one of those things, it sucked, but I had to do something, and I had to, start getting bills, that's how when you're a grown up out here.
Occasionally.
Yeah. So I just had to figure out something, and I just was hustling, grinding. I kept in communication with my coaches at UCLA, asked them for some help, and they actually sent me to a commercial agency. So that's when I started doing commercials as background at first. Actually, like real football commercials. So I'm in a helmet, pads. I'm hitting, I'm hitting people doing that. So it was a good experience. And then the casting directors got an email. They emailed my coaches about my Coach Moore. That was my head coach at the time. They emailed him asking, is anybody interested in auditioning for this show?
That's huge.
So God is good. I'm just
so
glad.
You being cut actually paved the way to this, something greater.
Blessing in disguise. When one door closed, another one opened,
And they're two huge lifelong dreams of so many people.
Right.
Yeah.
Playing football and acting.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
actually,
to get to play on a collegiate level, that's pretty big.
yeah, it was a good time. I loved my time at UCLA. You know, go Bruins out there for my Bruins. But it was fun, and it definitely that prepared me for what I'm doing now. So it's one of those things, like, I was upset, but you know, I'm happy where I'm at now, where I am now, and just happy to be on this project, because I definitely would have been watching on TV myself, you know. But I kind of just took a leap of faith when I got the email about the audition. I didn't know what it was, or I didn't know anything about it. But at the time, I didn't have a lot going on, and I just went by faith, not by sight, and I just went through the whole process.
How long was the process, and how many times did you have to audition?
I'd auditioned 10 times, and it was like a
wow.
3-month process. Yeah, so I mean, this is my first project, but you know, at the end of the day, I earned it. I came in there, did the best I can do, and you know, gave it my all, and you know, I earned it. Like, can't nobody take that away from me.
At what point in the process did you find out that it was a show for HBO that was starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, produced by Mark Wahlberg, like just all these, you know, major things?
I say it was like the 3rd or 4th audition, because at first it was just the cast director, so it was just, you know, 2 people, and I start going. There was more people in the room. It really wasn't until I'm in the waiting room and I saw Lala Anthony, Carmelo's wife, and I saw Regina
King?
Hall.
Regina Hall from Think Like a Man.
Yeah.
I saw her, so I'm like,
Something's
you know,
going on. This
I'm
is pretty big.
looking, I'm like, man, they look familiar, and I'm like, well, what are y'all here for? And they're like ballers. I'm like, for real? Like, I said, this is a real show right here.
And it's real. I just feel like it's such a testament to Mark Wahlberg and The Rock and then HBO, because I know in this business, like, they want people with a name, and so it's so amazing that they liked you. And then the same with London Brown, because it's giving you guys a start because of who you are and your talent. So it's like, it's just incredible.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
Chills.
I mean,
It really is.
Yeah,
Because they just don't do, like,
God is good.
they just don't do that anymore. You know, they don't give people a chance. So it's
Exactly.
awesome.
That's why, I mean, HBO it's an amazing network. I mean, for them, like you said, to give me a chance off the streets, you know, I've never acted, and for me to, you know, not just like, you know, everybody was thinking I was gonna be like are you an extra, or are you just, you know, for me to be a regular character, like, it's amazing. It's
A
surreal.
main character, like one of the centerpieces, you know?
Yeah,
And was Vernon did you only audition for Vernon? Was there other characters that they had you audition for?
At first, they sent me both, and they wanted me to audition for Ricky and Vernon. But then I saw what Ricky's, like, you know, his profile, what he looked like. And I was like, you know, I don't play receiver, and I'm not, you know, 190 pounds. I was like, I don't think that's me. So then I told him, I was like, you know, because I play defense. I played a defensive player, and I played defense my whole life. So I was like, I think I'm more Vernon. Which I didn't, you know, at the time, I didn't know if that was good, you know, to just tell them what I want to do.
Well, you followed your instincts.
Yeah, I followed my
And
instincts.
it proved to be right on.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, it ended up working out, you know. And then I read for Vernon each time. Actually, like JD, John David, he was auditioning for Vernon too, and then they switched him over to Ricky at, you know, halfway through. So
Okay, some actors hate when I ask this question, but I really love the behind the scene, the pre-production aspect of it.
Yeah.
So you already mentioned some names, but I'm just curious, who were you up against? Were there other actors that we know that was up for this role?
I have no idea. Like,
Okay.
every time I would go, I mean, I would see other, you know, my first audition, I saw like real, actual NFL players I recognize. But I'm not the best with names, so when I would go in there, they did a good job of like making sure like people was in and out. So I really didn't see my competition. So I kind of would just go in there. You know, I would.
That's a metaphor. I didn't see my competition.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I know they had other people, because some people would tell me, like, you know, all the time, like, I audition for the show, but I'm not sure. I mean, I know, like, when I first got in there, they, you know, they had a good feeling about me. So I'm pretty sure they had other people, but I'm not too positive, and I mean, I really don't even care right now.
Exactly.
Right.
You got it.
Speaking of other athletes and so forth, what are the perks to being on a sports TV show? Are there any special perks that you've been able to get because of that? Because you are, you know.
I mean, perk. I got an amazing publicist. You know, that's definitely a perk right here. You know, I got a great team, and I'm just, you know, taking advantage of, you know, whatever I can get. You know, I definitely can get in some, you know, some cool parties now. I went to the Maxim party on Saturday.
I saw that. What about like sporting events? Or have you been able to get tickets to Super Bowl, to any Laker games, or just
not yet. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I want to go to the Cowboys camp and the Rams camp. I mean, I think it's one of those things you just gotta like go out and like see your face, and that's my thing now. I'm just going out, just meeting folks, let them know who I am personally, and you know, hopefully you like my personality and we can, you know, hang out a little bit more. But I, you know, I gotta try more. I know I can get some cool clothes now. That's cool.
Yeah. And then have you been able to meet the greatest, like who your favorite greatest of all time athlete is?
Yeah, I've been meeting a lot of cool athletes. I met Kawhi Leonard, and it's crazy because, you know, I mean, a lot of my friends still play ball, so you know, I meet some of their teammates, but it's crazy. I meet people, and I'm like, you know, I'm a fan of yours. You know, I watch you on Sunday.
Now you have big ass hands too.
Yeah,
now. Did you
put your hand up to Kawhi?
To Kawhi Leonard?
I didn't. I did. I shook his hand though, and I was like, man, you do got a big hand, but but I mean, you know, he was a nice guy. He was real cool, real chill. But I mean, yeah, I definitely meet some cool people. I met Will Smith the other day. He was real dope.
And so did they know who you were as well?
Kawhi did. You know, he was like, that's what some people. I'm like, you know, because I'm humble, I'm cool, just like all the rest of my cast. So I first thing I do is introduce myself, man. I'm like, I'm a big fan. They just like, man, I'm a fan of yours. Like I watch the show, and it's crazy because, you know, it's just, you know, I feel like, you know, especially with athletes, you know, we look at them and we want to do what they do, and they look at us and they want to do what we do. So.
Have any athletes ever said, yo, that storyline that you talked about hit close to home or anything like that? Like, how did you guys know about that?
Yeah, they say it's real realistic, and and I always meet athletes. I mean, I seen Chris Paul I did get to go courtside Wizards game. That was a cool perk.
Oh, nice.
So but
Did you get Rams tickets?
Not yet. I need some. Anybody out there?
FYI.
We got
Me too.
Yeah. It's at the Coliseum though. I hate that, but it's okay. But
You'll get them, I have a feeling.
But yeah, I mean, I saw Chris Paul. I was at the game courtside, and it was a free throw. Like, he wasn't even shooting a free throw. Somebody was shooting a free throw, and he was like, after the first free throw, he's like, man, ain't you on Ballers, man? I was like, yeah. I said, what's up, Chris? He was like, man, I'm trying to get on there, man. Like, can you do? I was like, because I seen him take pictures with Mark Wahlberg. You know, Mark know everybody in the sports world.
He does, yeah.
Everybody, period. But I was like, man, you need to talk to Mark, man. He'll definitely he'll definitely look out. But it's crazy. A lot of athletes, they really want to be on the show, which is really cool. You know, which makes it. Cause that's my thing. I hope like athletes like the show, cause it's about y'all life. It's about you. So it just shows, you know, that they doing a good job with the writers, and it's really realistic.
Can you give any spoilers for any athletes or guest star appearances for season 2?
I mean, we got Spice Adams coming up a lot. We got Terrell Suggs. You know, you saw him in the first 2. He's actually like how Victor Cruz is in the first season. Like he's like taking over for Victor. Okay. And yeah, we got a couple more. You know, we just had Coach Payton, Sean Payton from the Saints, and that was really cool. Like, he loves the show, and he was really on board. I mean, that's what I'm excited more about is, you know, the athletes that we do get on here, they really are passionate about acting. They really love the craft, and then I just, you know, sometimes you meet athletes and you can just tell they just doing it for the check. Yeah. But we actually get people that really want to like be involved, and you know, like even with Terrell Suggs Sizzle, I mean, he goes to Sundance, like he really like wants to do acting. Oh wow! And awesome. and it's been fun. It's been fun to meet them, and you know, hear their story, and they hear my story, and it's been cool just meeting some good people in this business.
Do you ever get nervous, or maybe season 1, I would assume not anymore, but you know, when you have scenes with Dwayne Johnson and Troy Garrity and Andy Garcia, just, you know, when you first maybe saw that he was going to be, you know, acting?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I definitely, you know, get nervous, you know, but I mean, I wouldn't say nervous. I just get excited. Yeah. And but it just showed that, you know, I just care about it. Anytime I think, you know, you get those butterflies, you know, that's good. That makes you, you know, it makes you care about what you're doing, and I really, you know, I love my craft. I love acting. I love being on the show, and I mean, it's been just a great experience. But yeah, I get a little nervous, man. It's not as bad as, you know, first season, but I mean, it's just like I got nervous when I played ball too. Like after that first like series. After that, I'm good. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
This is just I've been doing. This is just ball. It doesn't change. And same thing with acting. I mean, I haven't did it for a while, but nothing changes. You just do your thing, and I'll just do the best I can do, and that's all anybody can ask for.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So why don't we do some final predictions for what we think is going to happen for season 2 with Vernon and Reg?
Am I starting?
Yeah.
I'm starting. Okay. I think Vernon and Reg are going to have a mini falling out, but they're going to come back together because that's what friendship is. But I think that they're going to be tested. And I think Vernon's going to go through some things, having to sit out for a bit. We'll see.
Y'all know what I'm saying?
I would usually agree with you, but I'm kind of changing my feelings. Like, I think that Vernon's kind of taking a little bit of the fall either way, and I think that maybe even deep inside, if he knows it was Reggie, he's just kind of letting it be. So I don't think there'll be a falling out, but maybe Reggie will step up to try to figure out, like what you said, like interning or maybe reading over contracts. Maybe he's gonna try to do his own thing, which I think will actually upset Vernon. I think he does want him close by more than he realizes that he needs him.
Well, I see a fallout for season 2 between Reg and Vernon. I think they're going to fall out in the sense where, like, Vernon's like, I'm not effing with you. Like, that's it. I'm done for now. And then season 3, of course, they'll mend fences. And then I think he will actually have to sit out. I'm not sure how soon season is, but being that they're at the part of contracts right now, I would assume that that camp will probably start in a couple weeks. And so I don't think that Vernon will be ready. I think he's gonna have to sit out. And what's going to happen is, I think while that's happening, and since the guy hung up on him, I think he's off the team, and I think that Spencer and Joe are going to talk their way into getting him back on the team, and I think that's what we're going to see at season 2, and then season 3. By this time, he'll be he'll be injury free, and then he'll go back, and they'll be able to start another storyline. But that's what I think will happen.
Oh, I have a question, kind of along with the prediction thing. I think Vernon gets a girlfriend at some point this season because he's gonna have a lot of free time. I mean, you gotta have something to fill up your time, right? And that's a cause for trouble. That could be a source of conflict with him and Reggie.
Reggie could be jealous.
Reggie gets pushed out the way.
But I still think that once Joe and Jason find out that Spencer let Vernon call the owner, I think that's going to divide them, because it's like, it's not just your decision. Right.
Mm-hmm. Those are some great predictions.
Yeah,
wow.
I like those. Those is good.
Do you have anything you can say that won't get you fired?
I mean, definitely that, Vernon, Reg, it just, everything changes when you injure. Mm-hmm. So you definitely gonna see, of course, it's drama. You're gonna see some type of conflict, but it's a good season. You're gonna enjoy it.
Stay tuned.
I wonder if he'll lose the house.
Move in with Spencer.
No, or get an apartment somewhere on the other side of Miami.
Not by the beach.
And
he might need a little sign.
Yeah, he may lose that big old house, and they have to have humble beginnings and stay in an apartment. Yeah.
I hope not.
But let everyone know where you can be found on social media before we wrap.
Yeah, you can find me on
right at that camera.
Right here. Mm-hmm. You can find me at Instagram at Donovan W Carter, Twitter at DC SoFly, and I just got Snapchat, so Donovan Carter on there. So yeah, add me please. I need
All
it.
right.
You can find me at Stiletto Jill on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, all the good ones, and of course here every week for Ballers.
Same with me. Find me at Suzette Babb on Twitter, Instagram, and my snap name is Zetter.
And you can find me on all social media, including Snapchat. You guys can follow me at Bamm Ericsen. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to Baller Special Guest Edition with our man, Mr. Donovan W. Carter, who plays the character of Vernon on Ballers. Congrats to you on everything. Much luck to you. And I can't wait to finish the rest of the season as well as season 3.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congrats on that.
Yes. So thank you guys for tuning into this special edition here on AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.